Hey guys, I am Zone. This is Gamers Oasis. Let's get into it. This particular one is a compilation video of all the downtime that has occurred so far, both pre-game and the very beginning of the game. So I hope you guys enjoy it and look for more videos like this in the future. Okay, so we're going to do some downtime activities here. A before the game started type of downtime, so that these characters have a little bit of a history in their starting areas. So we're going to start real quick with Osgar and with Brith, who both started in Brigton's Rest. These characters are going to go ahead and have a little bit of a history and allies and this type of stuff from there. Then they will decide where they want to go and do that type of stuff. Now, I'm going to probably do a whole video talking about allies and rivals and this type of stuff. Effectively, think of them as like special coins. These special coins can be used in a particular situation to gain advantage or some sort of improvement on the situation, or disadvantage, or to make it more difficult to get in the way of a particular situation because they're rivals. They're not necessarily chaotic, evil, or anything of that nature, or even neutral. It could be two people that are lawful who just don't get along that might step in the way of the other one just because they don't like the other person that much. Or they don't understand him, or they mistrust him, or whatever the situation might be. They're not all retainers of the villain, shall we say. Now, that could happen. I don't want to exclude that, but I do think it'd be important to say there's more to it than that. All right, let's go ahead and get in some dice, though. Alright guys, so we're working a little bit on our setup, and when I got my dice in, I didn't get 2d6 like I was hoping. It gave me one less dice, and it was supposed to give me 2d6, so we're going to have to roll that one twice a little bit, or I'm going to have to use like these blue dice. I'll probably do that just because they're easily to be seen versus roll that d6. Alright, so I got some oversized dice to make it hopefully easier to read, though the white and the black with the gold doesn't work. So give me a second. I don't know if that's any better. Alright, we're going to just put this here for a little bit less glare and maybe a little bit easier to see. I'm going to turn an overhead light on too. Okay, so that's better. Now we got the lights the way we need it and everything. Let's go ahead and get into this. So let's go ahead and get into what they have going on. There are rivals and allies and activities, kind of is the way I'm looking at it. And well, actually there's rivals, neutral parties, and allies. So rivals generally just stay rivals. Very rarely can you ever convince a rival to never be a rival. They might become a neutral party and then move on with their life, and you've removed it as an obstacle. But you're never going to get it to be like an ally. But allies typically fall into neutral parties all the time because they get spent, essentially. And then you have to earn them back as allies, which is by doing activities and whatnot, like the carousing and that type of stuff with them. But let's go ahead and get into how many each one has. So we're going to do a charisma check. Okay, so Osgar over here has a charisma modifier of has a charisma of 13. So here's for my d20 roll. If I succeed, then I get +1 on the rival table to see what that is. And then if I succeed by a certain amount, I get +2. And if I succeed by an astronomical amount, which I can do it by 10 or more, I get +3. Now, you basically are going to get 2 rivals. The idea is you hope to get 1 rival and 1 ally, but that doesn't necessarily mean so. I'm willing to bet that Brith's probably going to get 2 rivals just because that's the way his life is. So here is for the charisma check. Alright, so we have an 8. That means we've made it. We've made it by less than 5. So we're going to get +1 on this roll. Now we're going to roll 2d6. We're going to add +1. If I roll low, I get a rival. I roll again. If I roll high, then I get an ally. Roll again. Alright, and in the middle is just a potentially neutral interaction or a neutral party. So we have a 9. +1, we didn't need it, is 10. We have an ally. We're going to go ahead and do a charisma check for the next one. We got 5. That means we get +2 in this roll. And that is 7 plus 2 is 9. So we end up with Osgar getting 2 allies. That's actually pretty important.
No rivals, just allies. So an ally is a rival just spun in the reverse direction. So we're going to roll 2d8. So we have a 6 and we have an 8 to bring it to a 14. So if this was a rival, it'd be an exiled noble looking for revenge. In this case, we have an exiled noble that wants to aid. So I'm going to go ahead and type this out real quick. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll for the second one. 6 and 5 is 11. This is a newcomer in competition with the PC. If it's a rival, in this case, it's a newcomer that is looking to seek the aid of the NPC or the PC. Okay, so you notice here that I keep putting a few pound signs and then a number. That's because I'm not defining the name of this person. This is a person that I will figure out in the game as we play it. This is kind of the randomness, the oracle side of things. I have these in here. I'll go ahead and get when we go to use this or to go to I need to put the 10 that they're in too. So this is going to be in Brigton's Rest, because where it is important. But when you go back to Brigton's Rest and I want to find out who this person is, I need to start rolling, because I don't know if my ally is going to be helpful until I go there and do this thing, unless I know who the ally already is. So if I go to Brigton's Rest later in this, what I'm doing right now, we can figure out who these people are, or I can do this in a future downtime to figure out who it is. Now, the question I need to ask is, let me go ahead and get my dice out, my Oracle dice out. Am I going to try and get my background done here in Crestwood, the city, or am I going to go back to Brigton's Rest? So, am I going to stay in Crestwood? No. Am I going to go to Brigton's Rest? No. Am I going to go to Haverford, since I've dealt with people that are from Haverford? Maybe. Okay, we're going to take this as a potential. So I'm going to do a small list of people or places, because we have, well, I don't even need to do a small list. I have really 2. So I've heard of Haverford and I've heard of Willowsdale. I've been to both those places. Having people in both those places that could be, or gain some background there, would be good. So I'm going to do 4, 5, or 6 is Willowsdale, the place where the Hallowed Oak Dungeon is near. Or I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go meet with my party members' home area and get a chance to learn about those people over there and maybe have some downtime with them. So we're going to go to Haverford. Okay, so we're going to go to Haverford. Now, what kind of activities are we going to do? We have carousing, which can build rivals and allies, potentially. We have craft and item. We have crime. We have gambling. We have relaxation. We have religious services. I don't know how much into that he's going to be. Maybe. I can't really do scribe work or scroll. I could do books, but he can't do like that type of stuff a whole lot right this minute. And he could train. Now, he could train in Crestwood. So this type of train wouldn't be like level training. This would be like him learning a language or learning a craft. And he could just go there to work. So we have... Okay, so we have 9 different possible things on here. So we're going to be rolling a D10, but we're not going to be rolling just a D10 straight. We're actually going to be doing this with some weight. I don't see him doing any spell books or anything of that nature. That doesn't sound like him. I don't see him doing any work because he's never going to go back to the common life. I could see him doing training. I could see him doing gambling. I really don't see him doing crime in a brand new area, in a village, no doubt. But we'll leave that one there. But we're going to put some weight on some other stuff. I see him carousing. He doesn't really have a craft, so he can't do that. So if he were to roll a craft, then we're going to go ahead and have that go to carousing. If he rolls work, he's actually going to go to training. And if he goes to book stuff, he's going to go to research. Because, again, I see that more of a thing than the other. And if he rolls a 10... I'm probably going to go back to carousing. because building up contacts and this type of stuff is important. So here's what he's doing for a week of time that he is off. So we're going to go with 6. So he's going to be doing some research in something. Is he going to be researching the habits of like goblins? No. Is he going to be trying to learn about whatever this location is? Yes. Is he going to look into what that robe is about? Okay, so we're going to go down this robe thing. This is going to take him into the church a little bit. He's going to go and talk to the leader of the shrine. Okay, so we're at Haversford. We have the Shrine of Light. The priest there is considered to be a high priest, per se. And his name is Leofin Cooper. We're going to say this starts on like... we're going to do a little bit of training, get our 2nd level. We're going to come out on... see, it was the 6th when we went in, the 7th we wake up. Let's say it was the 14th. Okay, so he went to meet with the high priest of named Leofin Cooper. Obviously, the reason why he did this is because Brith talked so highly about him, and he felt like he could connect with this guy and not be overly judged. Probably because Brith's history. So, let's see how successful this is. Well, first of all, we're going to give him a charisma check to see how well Leofin takes him. So we rolled a 9. We know this is below his charisma, so we know that is good. So he has made success. Now, will this in blue will actually we'll just keep purple being good. Does Leofin know anything off the top of his head? Yes, he does. He knows that this is the cult of the eye. They refer to it as a cult because it's not one of the main pantheon gods. This is a pantheon type of place. It's not like a monotheistic area where everyone who doesn't worship the main god is considered a cult. Cults are generally, in this situation, not mainstream, lesser known, haven't been proven to be part of a specific pantheon. So they're usually like entities or elementals or fiendish, demonic, something of that nature. If that makes sense. Okay, so what does Tier 1 mean? Tier 1 means that he knows that this robe here, which is a red robe, is not the base level, entry level schmuck in the Cult of Eye. That this one would actually be able to cast magic, or most likely to be able to cast divine magic, that they were a cleric of some nature. The gray robes are the entry-level schmucks and they might be clerics, but they're so low level they can't actually cast magic. Not only do red robes generally cast magic, but they have a mastery over it to such a degree that they're actually able to cast beyond first-level spells generally. So, that is what he knows so far. Now, he has 200 gold, as you can see. He doesn't have any need for upgraded armor. He could go carousing, but he doesn't necessarily want to do that either. He has a riding horse. Is there anything else he wants to spend his money on? Yes. Is he wanting to go for specialty gear, like holy war, silver, that type of stuff? No. Is he wanting to go for more of like thief stuff? No. But less of a no. Is he wanting to carry more food and water? No. Is he wanting like upgrades for the horse, like maybe saddlebags and these type of things? Yes. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get a few upgrades for that type of stuff. Probably for his backpack. Does he want winter's clothes? Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and make sure he's more well-rounded, has his own tent, these type of things. And I'll just come back to that in the future. Okay, guys, so because I'm deciding to do this sort of by origin, the actual exact order in which I'm doing these is Osgard and Brith. They're going to go to different places potentially. But I wanted to go ahead and kind of give them a chance and knock out the Brigton's Rest all at the same time. And then I'll go over to Haverford. So that's kind of the order in which we're doing this. And this will be the first of these type of videos we're doing. So let's go ahead and go to Brith. So Brith is a cleric. He is from Brigton's Rest. He has a charisma of 10. I went over and discussed that already. We're going to just jump right into this. We're going to give him a charisma check to see how things work out. He has made it by less than 5, but he has got a plus on the modifier. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and roll 2d6 to see if these are rivals or if these are allies. He's going to have 2. He didn't make a negative, so he will get +1 on this dice for the first one. So we have a 12. Okay. We have an ally. Roll again. There's not a huge benefit for that particular thing, but we do have that. All right. Now we're going to do another charisma check to see if this one also gets a plus. No, this is going to be negative. Now he has failed this by less than 10, but he's failed this by more than 5. So this would be a -2 on this dice roll. So he rolled a 7, minus 2 is a 5, and that will be a rival. So we do have our first rival roll. Of course, it's Brith. Why would we not? All right, I'm surprised we didn't have both of them. Let's go ahead and roll for the ally first. 4 and 8 is 12. This is someone who is related to a villain, either known or not known. In this case, they're not working to hinder the PCs. They are working because they don't necessarily approve of the things that they are doing. Okay, so we talked about the fact that allies are spent and turned to neutral members. So in this situation here, we have a ally who's a family member of a villain who is willing to help Brith. Now, how you get that back to being an ally again could be very difficult. If you were to help the villain or not kill the villain or try and get the villain aid or bring peace to the family or whatever the case might be, then maybe you could bring this person back in. But this is generally could be more of like a one shot, and then they just turn into like a neutral party. They're not willing to go against family multiple times. Not someone generally you can go ahead and carouse, buy beers for and get them to come back to you. Very unlikely. This one here is going to be for rivals though. All right, so this rival is going to be 3 + 1 is 4. So you have a social rival. Is this a social rival over information, assassination, or are they going to betray you? I think we need to save that for later. All right, again, we're going to hold this off, and if they ever go back and this type of stuff could ever become relevant, then we will have something to go off of. This is just one more way that we bring into what a character might be going through and like what's happening outside of the combat, and also the solo play nature of this. I don't know what that is. So going to Brigton's Rest, I could know there's a person who always works against me, but I don't know what their intentions are. We won't know that until it's rolled. So now let's go ahead and look at this chart here. We've got a D10 chart again. We're going to go ahead and see what we're doing. Again, this one here, Brith is not a crafter, so he'll go back to carousing again. He can make a scroll, so if he gets a scroll, he gets it. He does not mind working, so we're going to may leave that on there. But if we get a 10, instead of it being carousing, we're going to have that be a scroll, because I could really see him wanting to increase the amount of scrolls he has. He now has spells, and I think he really wants to utilize it and maybe have like a scroll of bless or something of that nature, or maybe a cure light, so that he can have just a little bit extra healing. So we have a 6 again, so he's also going to be researching. First of all, where is he going? We haven't decided that yet. Is he going to do this right here in Crestwood? Yes. So he's not going to leave Crestwood. He's going to stay right there in the town, and he's going to meet with that person there. Now, is he going to go to the Church of Light, or is he going to go to Lord Reinhold? 1 through 4 is going to be the Church of Light. So he's going to go to Reinhold to see if he can find out who And what is he going to research? Is he going to research maybe who that wizard was? Ah, yes. So he's concerned about this wizard that tried to take from them, and he wants to know more about it. Will Reinhold know who it is? No. No, he will not. So he's going to spend a week to learn about this wizard and not come up with anything. Okay, so some people might consider that a failed week, and that would be correct. However, I think it's interesting that that's what he did for that period of time. And I think the next time he does that, it probably earn him a benefit of some nature, particularly if there's new information. If there's no new information, then I don't see how that would help him a whole lot. Okay, guys, so before I go, let me go ahead and do this real quick. We're going to go ahead and decide what we want for, is he going to spend any of his money, or is he going to, what all he's going to do. So let me come over here real quick. All right, so Brith has 200 gold. He's going to tithe, obviously. So we're going to just go ahead and take this down to 180 gold. Because that's just what he does. We're going to put down here on the 14th, we'll say. Okay, so he tithes 20 gold pieces. Now we're going to have to look at some of the holes that he has for his gear. And we have to ask some questions. Is he going to try and go to plate mail? He's wearing currently a chainmail shirt. Will you go to plate mail? No. He feel like there's better ways for him to spend his money. Is he going to go into more specialty gear for priests? I think this is going to be a stronger yes. And for sure it is. He has a strong no. So I get this as 2 strong numbers and a strong no means that he's going to specialize. So are we going to go into silver, wolfbane type stuff? Are we going to go into mirrors? So silver is 1, 2. Wolfbane and that type of stuff is holy water. So wolfbane is going to be 2, 3, or 3, 4, and then 5, 6 will be holy water, and then 7, 8 will be like stakes and crosses and other holy symbol type stuff like that. So we're going to go into silver. So silver dagger, but he can have a silvered mirror. Is he going to try and get a mace with some parts of it with silver on it? How far is he going to go? No. Silver on the shield, maybe? Or armor? No. Too gaudy. Okay. Is there anything else he went silver on? No. That's a strong no, too. So I think we're done. We're going to go ahead and get a silver mirror. I think it's 15 gold, but I'll look. And from there, we'll go ahead and just stockpile the rest of this money. Ooh, silver holy symbol. We have a wooden holy symbol. What about a silver one? Yes, that's the other one. So we're going to keep the wooden one, but we're also going to go with a silver holy symbol. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner. This time we're going to be tackling Stigith, Edith, and Myron. So the demi-humans and the human fighter female, the really strong one. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with Stigith here. We're going to do a charisma check to see where we start with this. We have 2 different potential allies or rivals. The first one is going to be a 17. That fails by more than 5, less than 10. So that's going to be a -2. So we're going to do a 2d6 check. And we're going to add a -1 to this, or -2 to this roll. So we have an 8, -2 is 6. We have a potentially neutral interaction, or in this case, what I changed it really to is a neutral party. So we have a neutral party. I'm going to roll to see what they may be associated with, and they're not going to be doing anything either way, but they are going to be someone that could be influenced positively or negatively in the future. So 4 and 2, so 6. So someone who is interested, because this is neutral, not believes this to be a problem or whatever, in what the party is doing. Okay, so this neutral party is watching what Stigith is doing and could become a rival or could become an ally. We don't know yet. The next one, we're going to do another charisma check. This one here is a 10. My charisma is a 9. So we failed, but not by a lot. We only failed by 1. So this is, again, less than 5. So it's going to be -1. So we have a 7. Again, it's going to be the neutral party again. We're going to do what this is. We have a 4. Okay. So this is a social. Ooh, this is a very dangerous one here. So we have someone who's potentially an informant, an assassin for good or bad, or a betrayer. Okay, so what does this mean? So if you have a person who's positively an informant, that means that they are coming to you with information that you don't even request sometimes. A rumor mill type of place, but maybe a little bit more zing to it because they are informing on it for you. If they are a rival, maybe they are telling your enemies about what you are doing. If they're an assassin, maybe they're here to say, I'm here to offer my services or protection, or I'm here to assassinate you, or in this case, they're just being neutral. Betrayer. Are they betraying you, or are they betraying someone else? Is it that they know you from Havers Ford because maybe you don't know that they've been there the whole time in disguise, and you go fight the big villain, and then boom, Farmer Joe, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm here to help you. Or, Farmer Joe, you poisoned me. Why'd you give me poisoned eggs when I went to your house? We don't know. That's going to be what the Oracle's going to tell us in the future. And if we push this guy or girl into being a non-neutral party, into a rival or into an ally. All right, so where is Stigeth going to go? Is Stigeth going to stay right here in Crestwood? No, Stigeth's not going to stay in Crestwood. He's going to go back to Havers Ford. That makes a lot of sense. Yes, he's going to go back to Havers Ford. Let's go ahead and find out what he is doing there. So I have rolled up this chart here. Stigeth is a flint napper, if I remember right. Yes, so Stigeth is a flint napper. So work could be a thing he actually does. Crafting is a thing he could actually do. Doesn't really see him doing a lot with books or scrolls. I'm going to push that to carousing. I'm going to push 10 to carousing, just like normal. So we're going to have 3 in carousing because that just makes a lot of sense for him to be doing it that way. So we have a 9. So he's going to go back and do some work, which means he's going to gain some money while he is there. Now, I have a complication chart for people who go to work because work is not always the same now that they're a hero. So in a 1 in 6 chance, he's going to have some sort of complication. So no, he does not have any complication. Everything goes fine. He gets paid to work at the at the arrow bow place. So I'm going to mark this down as 114. So we have plus 10 gold. He could have a suit of armor made. He has neutral parties there. So no one to be willing to help him necessarily. But we could go ahead and try and do that. Is he going to be looking to upgrade his gear? Yes. I'm going to assume it's going to be with plate mail, so I'm going to give it an extra positive modifier because that just makes yes. All right. Is he going to pay to expedite? Or is he going to go for something decorative? 1, 2 decorative. 3 through 6 is going to be expedite. Or no. 5 and 6 would be expedite. 3 and 4 would be nothing. So he is going to expedite this process. So he's going to pay double the cost of plate mail to get plate mail done in half the time, which would be 5 days. So that means he's going to go work as a flint napper for a week. He's going to leave there with plate mail when he leaves. But it's going to cost him twice as much. More. It's going to cost him more. Let me get into that. I think probably 3 times as much, actually. I'll go ahead and figure that out in a minute. But for right now, we're going to get rid of this chainmail. Change that to plate mail. We're going to change his armor from CS to PS. Now, what does PS mean? PS means plate and shield. and he has that. So, very cool. Is he going to get any sort of weaponry other than the hand axe? Is he going to also go with a spear potentially? He carries a 10-foot pole, if I'm not mistaken. No, he does not. He's going to get himself a spear or a polearm. Yes, polearm 1 through 6, or 4, 5, 6. So he's going to go with a spear just like Edith. So let me go ahead and notate this down that he now has plate mail. Ooh, did he sell the chain or did he keep it maybe for a future henchman? I didn't state what I was doing. 1 through 3, he sells it. So he does sell the chainmail. He's figuring he can get that later. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do this with Edith. Edith is going to go ahead and just jump right into this. First of all, we need to look at Edith's charisma. Edith Leo Frick's charisma is only a 7, so hard to roll below that. But we roll it, so we are successful. So she will get a +2 on the next roll to see if we get an ally or a rival. We have a 6 + 1 is 7, remains a neutral party. And we're going to roll 2d8. We got a 4, and we got a 7 for a total of 11. We've rolled 11 before. It will be the same. I think we did. Newcomer coming to town, potentially compete with the PC. In this case, it's not necessarily that. It is a newcomer. We did roll this one before. Okay, so we have potential competition coming to town, unknown at this point in time. Second one is going to go ahead and be an 8, which means we failed by 1, so not terribly. We get a -1 to the dice. So a 7 becomes a 6. Again, we're going to stay neutral in this. We're going to have another neutral party. This one's going to be a 2 and a 3, so a total of 5. Okay, so in this particular case, it's a neutral party, which means it could become a rival or it could become an ally. But we have an official that is watching what she is doing. If she goes the positive route, then that could be an official that becomes an ally, which could be very helpful to her. If she gets unlucky or mistreats this person, then it might become a rival. All right, so now we have that figured out. Let's go ahead and figure out what we're doing here. Is she going to go ahead and leave Crestwood, or is she going to do things in Crestwood because it is a town? She's going to leave. Is she going to go back to Haversford? No. Is she going to go to... well, let's go ahead and look at this. Is she going to go anywhere else outside of Brigton's Rest or Willowsdale? Maybe. That's very unhelpful. So let's go ahead and do this. Is Brigton's Rest or Willowsdale? Is Brigton's Rest a bigger part of her life recently than Willowsdale? That would be 4, 5, and 6. So Willowsdale will be a bigger part of her life. All right, so we're going to go and go with a 1 is outside of the 2 I mentioned. 2 through 3 will be... No, 2 through 4 will be Willowsdale, and 5 and 6 will be Brigton's Rest. So it is going to be Brigton's Rest, even though there's less chance of it. So that's good. Now, what are we going to do there? Edith was a cook before she came here, so she could go work there. So work is an option. She doesn't have a craft, so if she gets craft, she's going to do carouse. She can't do spells or anything like that, but I could see her wanting to do research. She's sort of a pragmatic type. And if she gets carousing for 10, I think we're just going to leave it as that. So we're going to have 3 options for carousing to try and build up like references and these type of things. So we have a 1, so we are going to go finally into our carousing table. Now we have to decide if we're going to go for lower, middle, or high class carousing. There is a cost difference for this. She cannot afford high class. She can afford middle, but I really just foresee her sticking it out with the low class. So she'll spend 10 gold for this week. Now you can have, I didn't get into this earlier, but you can have as many allies in a location as you have henchmen. You can have as many rivals as you roll, but you can only have as many allies. You can have as many neutral party or rivals as you roll, but you can only have as many allies as you have allowed for your henchmen. So in this situation, she has 3. She can maintain 3 allies as a particular location. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into what this is. So we have a 1 in 6 chance of a complication from this carousing. We do not have a complication. We'll just skip that chart. Now we're going to go ahead and go to a 2d6 chance. So we're aiming for high. So we got a 7. So a 7 is neutral. She spent a week hanging out, getting the, drinking and meeting with people. Nothing came from it. So that is what happened with her. Now let's go ahead and look into some of her finances. She has 200 gold. She does not have plate mail. Is she going to upgrade her gear? We're going to ask that very generally, but we're going to give ourselves a positive because she is a frontline fighter. Oh yes, we are definitely. Is it going to be armor? Maybe. I'm going to take that high of a yes, we're upgrading as definitely. Okay guys, this is Editor Zone. Slight little mishaps. I apparently missed when I was doing the card that I referenced that Edith already had plate mail. I didn't have to add it. If you notice in the video prior, you can back it up a little bit and see it organically. She already had plate mail. She was always wearing plate mail. She was never chainmail and shield. So she should have been way higher armor class this whole time. But whatever. It's all good. All right, so I'm going to throw a couple other variables in there because I thought I was buying plate mail for her, and I wanted to go a couple directions. So is she going to go any sort of specialty stuff? We're just going to throw some yes, no's out there. And maybe no on all of this stuff. Maybe. So does she want to get specific? Yes, okay. Are we looking for silver? No. Are we looking for wolfbane? No. Are we looking for mirrors? No. Are we looking for climbing stuff? No. Are we looking for garlic maybe? Maybe. Are we looking for more food, rations, water? Gear for the horse. An upgrade horse, like a medium war horse. Ah, that's what we're looking for. All right, let's see here. We can afford a medium. Let's see if one's available. I'm going to roll a charisma check. 6, she actually makes her charisma, so yes. So she's going to go buy herself her own medium war horse and give back the riding horse back to Reinhold. Now she's going to need a saddle, probably saddlebags. Would she be interested in, instead of a horse, a cart? I'm going to make this double negative. And she'd buy like a secondary light horse or a draft horse or something and then get a cart. That's a heck no. Don't ever ask that question again. We're going to go medium war horse, a light riding horse is too small for her. That works out fine. We'll get her a saddle and some saddlebags. Cool. Is she going to change any of her weaponry too? Yes. Is she going to go with like a two-handed sword just in case? No. Okay, so we have her in plate mail. We have her in all that type of stuff. Let's go ahead and get into what we're looking for here. We have... Is she going to ask Myron for the bow? No. She's going to just get her own type of thing. Is it going to be a heavy crossbow? Maybe. Is it going to be a longbow? Yes. All right, so she does want to go longbow. All right, so now we have a longbow plus 30 arrows. Is she going to go for any sort of specialty things? She did roll pretty high and wanting to upgrade herself. No. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and leave that as that. Last up is going to be Myron. Myron has a 9 charisma. We're going to just jump right into it. Is Myron's first person contact. That's going to be a -1. We're going to go ahead and roll 2d6 here. See if it's a rival or an ally. So we have a 7 at -1. There's going to be a neutral party. Seem to be rolling that, fortunately, a lot. I think charisma has a lot to do with that. Yes, I know that the middle numbers are more likely to roll on 2d6. However, the charisma would be pushing you out of that. Now let's go ahead and see what we got going on. So we have 7 and 6 for a 13. This is an ambitious person. So a neutral party that is an ambitious person means that they are actively trying to do things around you and you can see it and feel it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're out to get you. All right, lastly. Here's for the charisma check. 14, this is going to be a fail. I think by 5. Yes. So we have 2d6. So we're going to be at, again, neutral party. And 7. All right, so in this case, this is someone critical of Myron that is still neutral. But we don't know what that means moving forward. All right, now we're going to go ahead and figure out what they're doing. Is Myron doing this in Crestwood? No. Is he going to go back to Haversford? No. All right, we're going to do the same thing. Is this potentially going to be outside the area? So no, it's not. So we're going to have a 1. Yes, it is. And then is this going to be more towards Willowsdale, 4, 5, or 6? So it is going to be more towards Willowsdale. And it is going to be in Willowsdale. I don't need to be doing that. I need to be rolling a 10. We're going to be doing a 5. Kind of rushing through this a little bit here. I don't think I need to change any roll. I rolled relaxation. So essentially, Myron's going to go Willowsdale and spend a week there just hanging out. Not trying to move anything, not trying to get to know people necessarily, just getting a feel for the town. Relaxing. All right, now, upgrading gear. Does Myron want to upgrade his gear? Oh, for sure. Are we going to go with armor? Most likely. No. Are we going to go with specialty gear? No. Are we going to try and upgrade the mount to a warhorse? Because this is a potential only he can do. I'm going to go with yes. All right. So he's going to enter Kiki into becoming a warhorse. This is going to take time. Is this in Willowsdale? No. So he sent his horse there, and then he borrowed essentially a horse. And the reason why he spent all of his time there is because it's going to cost him a lot of money. And basically, he's going to be flat broke. Okay, guys. So we are at the end of all 5 characters doing a little bit of downtime. We've picked up a couple medium war horses. No lances yet. No barding yet. But we did get a spear on Stigeth, which is nice, and Edith now has a bow, which is nice. She now has a ranged weapon. That's very important. We have some silver and some specialty items like that between Osgar and Brith. We're probably going to go right back into the dungeon again, but I do want to see what Reinhold thinks or knows about the Cult of the Eye. So I'm going to go ahead and roll some dice real quick. Has he ever heard of the Cult of the Eye? No. So he has no information. Osgard's going to go ahead and explain what they found. Is he going to feel like there's any sort of importance to this? Yes. So Reinhold's going to dig into this more and research who the Cult of the Eye is and maybe like some of the motivations and whatnot. He wasn't able to find anything on the wizard, but he will keep an eye out. But we'll just have to go from there and see what happens. All right, guys. So I really want to know what you guys think. It really helps the algorithm if you guys post down below and are talking with me and this type of stuff. So if you have any questions, concerns, or you like what you're seeing, go ahead and say something down below and I'll respond to you guys. But yeah, hit the bell for following along and this type of stuff, if you want to get notifications, make sure you hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you might as well subscribe. You're this far into the video, you must love it. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys like it. See you guys in the next video, and keep rolling those dice. Bye.